Good afternoon. I'm Jeff, and I do baby wraps for my sister to give to her daughter's friends and for church. So I've done them for several years. I zeroed in on my favorite. It's a barbell, and this is the one piece that's the center. This is 6 inches by 1.5 or 1 and 9/16. The hole is 28 millimeters, which is about 1.1. And I have to mark them. That's the depth of the hole. And that 5/16 further in is where I start turning. So I'll have that much so it won't break off or anything. And to make this, I cut another piece about 2 inches long by the same square as this. Put it on a lathe and only turn about a 1/4 inch in on each side and make the diameter, whatever this is. I can put a micrometer to it and find out. And then when I'm all finished and I'm satisfied, these are the size. I just put it on a table saw, cut it in half, whirl it around. To do that, I put a teaspoon of popcorn in one end, glue it with the piece on top, then turn it over, repeat that process, and spray it and put a clamp on it. It doesn't take very long. It finishes quickly. The only thing is I have to make a lot of marks, cross marks so I'll know where I'm going, things like that. It gets to be tedious, but so I do a bunch of them at one time. This is maple. Yes. Right. I have one more, but that's, yeah, this is all set to go. Eventually, those lines that I drew for my own benefit will start to disappear. And that's when I have to start in with the parting tool to go in and go as far down as I want to. Because that's when the lines are going to disappear. So I have to do that. So now uh, I can get rid of this and I can get these down to 1.4. That's what I did find out somehow. That's too big for a baby to put in its mouth. Excuse me. Oh, the middle. I had been making it on the outside 1/4, 5/16, and 1/4. Now I'm making it a little bit bigger, like a 32nd or whatever I feel like. Because a quarters 0.25. Now I make it about 2.27. Excuse me? Yeah. Well, one time, only one has ever been returned to me with a broken handle. And I have a feeling, knowing the guy who did it, he probably sat on it on a couch. I don't think a baby has done it. And I was able to fix it for him just because it was a clean break, like a broken bone. And then put it together with CA glue, bound it up, and then and here I do it. I just could do this by judgment, but I go out. I don't go straight down. I go out like this, and it will eventually I come to a small area. And at the very end, after I've put enough, I put some glue on it only for coating, sanding sealer, and it makes a great thing for the, because if it's a baby rattle, baby won't is going to bite it with no problem, and it can be cleaned with warm soap and water. If you have any questions, just yell them out at me. The best wood for me, curl, regular maple, sugar maple. Uh, Hickory would work. I've made them out of hickory. It's a little heavier. I don't know if that's a problem for a baby, maybe a newborn. Osage orange would work fine. So I keep thinking of hardwoods, poplar, persimmon and mesquite. And those are all local woods. There's no need to go exotic on any of this.
Jeff, you're going for 1.4 inches, correct?
Yes. And now I'm 10 thousandths over. No, 1.4 is too big for a baby to put in its mouth. Yeah, that's it. And that, of course, if you're that, then you make it heavy. Of course, you could drill a bigger hole. You could have one and 1/8 instead of 20 millimeter. So you can vary that as much as you like. You probably think if it's one a week, that's 50. And I would say at least that.
For those on the line, what was the question again? Oh, okay.
I gave away one yesterday to my nephew's wife, who should have her baby in early August. And I said, until baby comes, this can be used as an adult pacifier. And immediately she passed it on to her husband.
Why do you use a caliper and not just have a gauge
The
that's already
truth
set?
is, it's what I was brought up with.
Okay.
When I was 14, I brought my, sure. When I was 14, I bought a Brown and Sharp micrometer because my father used to bring them home. His measured to 1,000, mine measured to 10,000. I always had to one up my father. And later on, we got dial calipers. But that's the only reason, Tom. Just well, this weapon, which is about what it is 33 years old and is old iron, high carbon steel. I use it as a roughing gouge because this seems to work out for me. Under 10,000. That's where I'll leave it. Some of you may have seen this. I don't remember if they're even made anymore. It's a laser. It's got lead shot in the handle, and I just kept it because it worked out for me. I just do this to smooth it a little bit. There's really no need.
How small do you try to get the center again?
The center,
Yes.
I used to do 5/16. That's 0.3125. Now I'll go up to 0.32 or 0.33. Becky,
How
7
often do you
years
break
ago, I
them?
had a heart attack. I don't know if it had anything to do with it. It was October 17. And I'll just throw this in. When the nurse told me on the phone I had a heart attack, I said, this can't be a heart attack because it doesn't look like it does on MASH. When I started turning again, I used this. I don't know if I'd been doing it before or not because I couldn't remember. I broke 7 in a row. And every kind of one of those woods I was rattling off earlier, including Osage orange. Capture,
Do you ever
you
use a
mean
capture ring? Yeah.
for right, you mean the not for barbell, but for uh, the rings? Well, for rings, yes. Yeah, you didn't say a ring. You wouldn't use it for this because you don't have to. But for rings, yes.
No,
Uh,
I think the question was, have you ever used a captured ring to do rings on a rattle like this?
Oh, on this? No, I've never tried that. I figure at the size that is, it's going to break. And not just by looking at it, but because it's getting constant use.
So Jeff, are you headed down to a quarter inch there? Are you headed down to a quarter or what?
A little over.
A little over a
It
quarter?
used to be a quarter.
Okay. So just FYI, and we'd look for tool tips and all. And on here, and I think I use it, maybe you do too, as an open end wrench that's just sharpened a little bit on one of them. And you can just take that open end wrench and go right in quarter inch. And then you got your go by ready to go.
Well, thanks, because I may take advantage.
Yeah. Anybody else use the open end wrench thing? Steve, yeah, Tom, Ken. It works great. I do it for a lot of my tenants and stuff like that if I'm doing finials. Right, as Tom was saying, you take that open end wrench and you sharpen one side of it, and it's just like a little chisel. You just hook it under there and all right. Oh,
That's a wrench you normally use on nuts. And that's right. And I'm thinking, yeah, I have seen that done before, and that might do better than what I'm save a lot of save a lot of time.
If I'm going to sharpen an open end wrench, I sharpen the short side so then the long side can go underneath the piece and give you a little more control, and you can just glide it in that way. If you sharpen the long side, it may want to, if it catches, it'll push it out, and it's harder to control that way.
what grit sandpaper did you start with?
This is 320. I would have been better off with 220 or even 180. What this is really for is when I finish all this, I take this over. That's cut down as far as I'll cut it. That's the same way. And because it's bowed out a little bit, I put it on a table saw and cut off no more than I have to. So it cuts out and it looks almost like this, but it's on the after that, this is bare wood. And so I put a few dabs of CA glue in it, let it sink in because it's going with the grain, and do it until it won't sink in anymore. And then I spray it. And then take 320, put it on a piece of newspaper, and use Danish oil to wet the sandpaper, and just keep going around in circles until it's the whatever's there is gone. And if I think it's too rough, I just go up to like 400, 600 grit. This is where it gets cruddy. And so this is one thicker. That's in fact what I coat pins with. This is 400. All I'm really trying to do is get rid of the sheen. That's all it really takes. If I think I need more, I'll do it again. This is not like pin finish. This is functional. Just purely functional. That's about as far as I'd go today. If I was in my shop, I'd take this off, go right over to the table saw, cut that off as close as I can without starting to make this spot bigger. Flip it over, do the same thing here. And then when that's cut, it'll be bare wood. And that's where I would take the thin CA glue and just keep putting it on until it goes in, and eventually this is what it'll look like. That's some fun I was having. I found a scrap of walnut. People seem to like them when they vary. So even at this point, this is totally functional. Any questions? Questions? You should have sat closer.
Do you ever embellish them?
I've never tried that yet, only because the recipient will not know the difference. Yeah, Tom.
Okay, so you got a 1/4 inch shaft. Yeah, any ever break off on the ends? I mean,
Like this?
yeah, break. No, break off with, yes, with a handle.
Yes,
Okay.
it's not happened in a long time, but
No,
what I said earlier,
when you pass them to a child and they had them and they broke off, not you turning them.
yes, one was returned to me. Do any of you remember Eric Oman?
Yes, I do.
Okay. I made one for one of his nieces or one of his daughters. He brought it back to me and I did it like a doctor. Since it was a break, a clean break, I put some CA glue in it, probably put some tape on it, sprayed it, and then eventually just uh, sanded it off with sandpaper by hand.
Any thoughts of turning them at 5/16 or 3/8?
You mean here and here?
The shaft, yes.
Yes, I'm getting them bigger. This used to be quarter. This was a quarter. Today I took it up from 250 to 270 or 280. And this is not 0.3125. That's 5/16. It's about 330 or 340.
Okay.
I figure that just makes sense. As long as the baby can handle it, and it'll be stronger.
Any more questions?
Do you ever make the barbell ends smaller? I mean, not in diameter, but just shorter?
Shorter?
Yeah.
Yes. I made these once 8 instead of 6 inches long. I made them 8 inches long, and I gave them to some friends of mine who were both engineers for their daughter and their baby. And the lady said, "You know, you don't have to make it that long." And I said, "What the heck? She's right." But that's why she's an engineer. She doesn't do any woodwork. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. One last announcement is for those of you that cannot make it to the Statehood Festival, there's also Gary Heingardner's Wood Hat event that same day. So for anybody that's out that far west, don't forget we've sent out an email about it. Yes, Tom. Hot Shot Tournament. Oh, Hot Shot Tournament, right. There's going to be the guy who makes wood hats, correct? Name again? That's right. So there is a Turner. So it is one big demonstration. And there's spirits. And there's hats.
Gary used to have T-shirts, or maybe it was Cecil, that across the chest says, "I'm one tool removed from greatness."
So it's my understanding, and talking with Gary, when we first sent that out, he was asking the tickets are $10 supply if you want to buy something. But in talking with him, I don't think that he really cares about the $10. That's just to get a head count so they know how many people. So if you're interested, email Gary, and say, "Hey, I don't want to buy anything, but I do want to come." So it's an open event, but just to get a head count. Like I said, who's the guy again, Steve? Oh yeah, the guy, turns wooden hats. That's what Gary got started with. But we've also got 3 former and present club members that are going to be turning wood hat bottle stoppers during the day. So there's going to be multiple demonstrations all day.
So lots of fun on August 10th. You could probably go to both if you want to. So anyway, thank you. We'll see you in August. Oh, wait. Oh, who won the President's Challenge? President's Challenge? You won. Next month's President's Challenge, a rattle. And if you want to, you can make it with captured rings if you'd like to. So that's how I'd make it. So have a great day. Thanks.